All right, welcome to another session as James and I dissect the most recent episode of The Walking Dead. This one titled Service. Before we kick it in, though, just a couple announcements. Our quarterly fundraiser is still going on. Check it out down below. Once again, it's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Follow the link, hear a personal story, and if you can, please donate. Also, in between our shows, we received a couple questions, so we want to tackle those before we actually get into this past episode. James, do you have any announcements or anything? I want to jump right into it.
Yeah, I got a couple announcements. So thank you to the people that I work with that tuned in and watching this dissection by Jay and myself, and then people at home in Connecticut that tuned in to hear me talk about zombies because you all made fun of me and made fun of my obsession. So I finally made it to YouTube and all the other outlets that Jay has for us to talk about this stuff. So haha, I made it. But thank you for watching, and thank you for the questions, and keep them coming.
Yep, and we will be fixing our video quality here. We're going to try a couple different connection issues, maybe try a couple different services beyond Skype. Could be something with a firewall. We'll get our IT team to look at that.
Yep.
But all right, so let's go a couple questions. Let's start off with how many children zombies have there been, and I guess how many have been killed?
This is a good question. This came from one of my buddies in CT, Brian. I call him One Eye Bry. He watches Walking Dead as well, so I like to call him One Eye Bry. He does have both his eyes, but I just mess with him anyway. So, child zombies. So I went through and I was thinking about him, so I wrote them down. So the little girl in the beginning that Rick killed with the pistol
Classic.
was one. Yeah, that was the opening scene for the series. So, that's iconic in itself. There's actually a backstory to her as well. Maybe we'll go on to that in one of our Throwback Thursdays. Sophia, another child zombie that Rick killed. Same way. He killed her with his Colt Python. Then we had the child zombie of Patrick, and he died in the prison in the shower, so he counts because he was still a kid. And then there was the battered wives home where Daryl and Carol went in their episode, and there was the child zombies behind the screen. So I think we're up to 1, 2, 3. There's the one that bit Tyrese, killed him, and then there's the one that Sam saw in season 6 in the mid-season finale, which freaked him out. So they don't really have a lot of children zombies. If I missed any, let me know. But right now our count is 6. There's only been one child zombie to actually kill a person or to bite a person, and that was the one that killed Tyrese in Noah's house.
Which I'm still a little, I don't know.
Yeah, that that's not quite believable. I mean, seeing how these survivors have survived this whole time and how they're so alert to things, and Tyrese actually saw the child zombie walking in the room and ignored him.
Yeah, it's like, do zombies make noise? And it's like, how stealthy are they? There's so many times they sneak up on people, and it's like, well, are they just mumbling, grumbling the entire time, or what's going on? They're shuffling, or I mean, geez, play D&D, you rolled one hell of a stealth check there to sneak up on them. I don't know. Just also a little trivia. I think it was discussed in Talking Dead, but Patrick, played by Vincent Martella, is the voice of Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb, correct.
Yeah. Right. So, in case you didn't know that, I believe it was Phineas.
He was Phineas. Yeah. He was Phineas because my daughter is 10, so she used to love that show a couple years back. She tells me when she was a little kid, she watched that show, and I'd look at her and say, you're 10, you're not 16, anything like that, But yeah, so I'm quite familiar with Phineas and Ferb. So.
That's okay. I find myself watching that show every once in a while. It's pretty funny.
My goodness.
Now, think they discussed as far as like how young they'll show zombies. Like I don't think they'll actually show baby zombies. Um,
They won't.
I also don't think they'll show like babies being killed, like Judith, being shot like in the comics. I don't think they'll show actually that, or like when he first saw the bloody crib, or there's a car scene too where you saw a car seat that was bloody. That's just like let's not cross that line and go over to that.
And I noticed they also won't show any corpses of like babies, because like you said, there's been hinting of it. There's been basic, they want to they want to hint to this death of Judith in the car seat, and then T-Dog saw the car seat with blood, and then Michonne walked in and saw the blood in the crib in one of the episodes. But they will never show you that. I think that steps over the line. That's just like AMC not allowing the word "fuck" to be used. So it's you. They can only do so much on basic cable.
I think there are a lot of like one. Who was it?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad said they were allowed like one a season or something like that, so they had to save it.
Breaking Bad did have quite a few.
Yeah. And on swear words, we'll get to that towards the end of the show. But there was a phrase that was not exactly cable appropriate. Some would say.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I didn't think they were going to do it. I talked about it in our first live broadcast. I talked about it. I talked about it in our second show, and I talked about it last week. And I was surprised that they actually went through with this, and I was happy that they did, because it did not take away from the comic book moment when Negan did this. It was great to see. Obviously, if your kids are staying up watching this, you got to really reevaluate why they're watching this.
Right. But we'll get there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yep. I want to get a couple more guys' questions. Yep. All right, next up. Oh, children zombies. There are obviously were a couple children killed too. Misha and.
Yes, Misha and her sister. I can't think of her name.
Yeah. Just jinxed us by bringing them up. I was just thinking of it too.
I know. I can't think of her damn name. But anyways, the two sisters died. And then, they had the other children in the prison. They were assumed to be dead because
on the roadside or the tracks.
The train tracks. You could see the little boy's boot. Kirkman wanted to let you know that they were presumed dead. Noah's twin brothers. One of them was completely gutted, and he was dead on the bed, and then his twin came and killed Tyrese. So that was another one, and that's probably it. Morgan's son died too. So,
but then it show it. Yeah.
True.
Someone does mention about babies. Wasn't there a baby in the basin in the apothecary with Denise? There's something. It was a fetus. It wasn't a baby. I think it was I want to say it was. I don't know if it was an aborted child. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I actually have to look back. That's a good question. But it was something in the sink that she saw, and she vomited. I'll look back, and we'll definitely get. We'll get to I remember that too. Now I wasn't sure if it was like a shoe, like a small shoe or something that was like kind of there. There was like a sign too, like leading up to like why that person killed the baby. Like it wouldn't stop crying or something like that.
Yeah. It was. It's kind of disturbing.
That's why she freaked out, right? And,
she threw up. She couldn't take it.
Knocked over a few things.
Yeah. So.
And that was when she was out on the run with Daryl and Rosita. Correct. All right, let's get to the next question then.
Yep.
Who is A-Rat? So if you saw the last episode, there's a female who kind of took point after Negan told everybody to spread out and check the town. You might be able to recognize the dyed hair. Possibly a connection to the comics,
and it is a connection to the comics. And there's I look back, I didn't know who she was. There's a character in the comics, Laura, that kind of falls for Dwight, and I think they kind of teased Laura when Dwight was playing hockey. I think that's Laura because if you look at the character's name, she plays as Laura, so she's going to be important. So you look back at the last episode, the savior that Dwight was playing table hockey with, that was Laura, and she's very important in the comic coming up. This character was tricky because she was in a comic. If you read back, and obviously we're in issue 103. It's the same type of thing, and this character's name was Terra. So Kirkman and Gimple did a really creative thing. The lady's name is Arat, so Arat is Terra backwards. So I really had to look at that, and I had to say, who the hell is this person? And I saw Terra, and I was thinking about it. Yep. And when I got the question, I really thought about it. I said, who the hell is Arat? And I read it over and over again, and I said, wait a second, they can't have two Terras on the show. So they have Terra Chalmers and they have Arat. So that's who Arat is in the comic books. If you know her, she's going to be coming up in a couple of scenes with Jesus. A little bit of a spoiler there. I won't tell you how they interact, but she is going to be a major savior, as you would say, just as big as Simon and Dwight. Not as big as Simon and Dwight, but I would say actually she's kind of on Simon's level. So she's up there. She's one of his higher lieutenants.
Yeah, not general level, but lieutenant level.
Lieutenant, yep.
Whenever you say a funky name like that, I know like Enid, there was some as far as like, does that name mean more than what it really is? Yeah. You have to start. Is it backwards? Is it
dying
combination?
Like wolves? It wasn't. So it's just Enid.
Well, nothing yet. At least we'll see.
We don't know. There was kind of a tease that Carl said in the previews for the next episode that he's not going to help her anymore. He's not going to save her anymore. He's not going to come running after her. So we don't know. We don't know where that's going, and we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And it was Mika and Lizzie were the two girls that Carol shot Lizzie in the head, and Lizzie killed her sister.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mika and Lizzie.
Yeah.
Great choice of great casting, by the way, for them.
Incredible casting, and they were actually comic book reversals as well, just like Deanna Monroe. Mika and Lizzie were actually brothers in the comic books, and Lizzie's character also killed animals in the comic book. So they like to do a little mixing up and reversal. So just pay attention to that as well.
And weren't they were twins, right?
They were twins.
Yep. Boys.
Twins. Yep.
All right, let's get to the next question then. Well, with the current situation with Rick, how would you think Shane would handle it? What do you think he would do differently?
This is another one from my buddy Brian.
This is actually a good question since Shane was mentioned, and
that's why he mentioned this shit. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He said he's going to try to stump me. So this is more of a what is it called? Rhetorical, you could say.
There's no concrete evidence.
It's no concrete evidence. Obviously, Shane died in season 2, but Rick basically he embodied Shane's spirit, just like he embodied the governor's spirit. Everybody he defeats, if you look at what Rick has become over time, he has become his antagonist. So he became this Rictator at the end of season 2, just like Shane would have done. So he told the group, it's my way or the highway. I'm keeping all of you alive. You don't like it, the hell out of here. And then in season 3, after he beat the governor, he started to be a good leader at first until he went crazy. And then he started to have, he turned into this governor type of character where he was like, hey, look, when they went into Alexandria, he was like, I'm taking over this shit.
Yeah, you got attacked first.
And he got attacked first. Yeah. And then even with Gareth, they try to show Rick becoming Gareth. Gareth said, you never know what you will do until you're hungry. And that's why they ate people. And then very same season, they started eating dogs. So it just showed you like he became all the antagonists. So I think to answer my buddy's question, what exactly would Shane do in this situation? So I think Shane would be more aggressive. I think Rick has become Shane and then left that behind. So he embodied what Shane was, and then he went on to the next antagonist. I think if he would have stayed, in the Shane mindset, I think Rick would have challenged the governor, or he would have stood up to the governor. I mean, not the governor. Sorry, Rick would have stood up to Negan, and Negan would have had to tell Rick, "I'm not making a martyr out of you." I think that he would have also, when Negan came knocking at their door for half of their shit, I think Rick would have had a plan of attack. I think Shane is the type of person to protect by any means necessary, not necessarily sit back and wait for them to come and collect their sheep. I think Shane is more aggressive. So in that sense, I think that Shane would have caused a lot more problems for his group without knowing it, only trying to protect Carl and his child, as we found out in this episode. But I think he would have done more harm to the group. Obviously, I think we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, that somebody asked, does he have a plan? Rick has to have a plan for the Saviors. I think Shane is more emotional, and Shane would have said, hey, we're going to go at it. You're not just going to come in here and take my shit and put my people at risk. Shane would have been the aggressor in this situation. So I think if Shane was in this situation, the episode would have ended with a lot of people dead.
Yeah. If they even still be alive.
I don't think he would have made it this far. I think that he was too much of a hothead. I think that his primary objective was to protect Laurie and Carl, but outside of that, when you're so tunnel vision in this world, it costs you, and it cost him because he became too emotionally attached, and obviously he let his guard down and Rick killed him.
But we'll never know. Fortunately.
Never know.
All right. There's a quote by Rosita. And one of the questions was, like, what did she mean when she said they took our guns because they wanted to take all of our guns?
So Rosita and Spencer were sent to go retrieve Daryl's bike. And this was from episode 14 in season 6. When Denise got shot with the arrow through the head on the train tracks. So there was a skirmish between the Saviors and the Survivors, and the Survivors shot most of the Saviors, and the Saviors retreated. Dwight got bit on his penis, and he's not trying to fight. Has a man jaws locked on his penis. He's trying to get the hell out of there. So he yelled retreat to the Saviors, and they all ran away. But in the meantime, the Survivors were able to kill a majority of those Saviors. Dwight knew this. Dwight knew that Daryl's bike was still there. It's another way that Negan wants to break Daryl. So they want to get all of his possessions. You see the Dwight's wearing his jacket. You see the Dwight has his crossbow. Oh, all I need now is your bike. You want all this shit back, you need to say that your name is Negan. So Dwight sent Rosita and Spencer to go get his bike. On their mission to go retrieve the bike, Rosita went after the Saviors because she figured they had weapons still on them. She knew that they were killed, and she knew that they would possibly still be carrying those weapons. So obviously when she killed the Saviors in the forest,
right,
she found the gun on one of them. It was empty, but she said the reason why they're taking our guns is to take all of our guns. Hey, they need weapons too, and to take our guns weakens us. So she knew exactly why Dwight was taking their guns away. She knew that the Saviors wanted to make the group vulnerable, and she knew that just like any other community, there's only so many resources, and guns are a very valuable resource, and you will run out. You will run out of ammunition, hence making bullets. You'll run out of weapons. So
she wasn't around when they started collecting them, right? I think so. She didn't actually know what was going on, but she
assumed it from what
to see. Yeah,
exactly, from Dwight taking all of her weapons like that. She had the foresight, because he did take her guns before Negan told Rick, hey, look, I'm taking all of your weapons.
Yeah, so even though Negan used the excuse like, hey, I didn't want to do this. Your son pulled a gun out on some of our people, but I have to now. You forced my hand. He had that intention going in there.
He did have the intention.
To take them all.
Yep. And so that should answer that question, and it was shown when she actually said that, and then when they came back and there were no weapons left, and she actually hid the gun in the wheel
The wheel
wheel
well.
the
Yeah.
wheel well of her car, and that showed that she knew that they were going to take all their weapons.
Well, let's see if that pays off.
Hey,
Also, so I guess we can start talking the episode. There's no other questions lingering around. We can go ahead and jump on in then.
all right.
So, let's start with the basic review and thoughts about the episode. What did you think about it? Yay, nay? Okay.
Well, I like Negan's character. I think that we didn't get to see a lot of Negan's character in the last episode. I think it really focused on Dwight and Daryl. But once again, getting to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan and how he's portraying Negan is incredible. I mean, this was another kind of like slower episode. Not a lot of action other than Rosita in the woods fighting the dead saviors.
Mm-hmm.
But you really got to see how psychotic and mentally dangerous Negan is. Just in this episode alone, he's very, very conniving. He's a sociopath. He's a psychopath. So he's all those things. We talked about this for weeks. This is where you've seen it the most. He came in jolly, charismatic. He's dun 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 dun, and that's a Beethoven song. So he's banging on the gate, and he little pig, let me in. And then of course Spencer says, "Who are you?" The first thing he says, you got to be kidding me, Negan.
Hey, what the hell is wrong with Spencer? I mean, come on. He's got to know.
Yeah.
Or don't we open the gate at that point?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna walk away. I don't want anything to do with this.
Exactly. And he's toying with Rick the whole time. He's trying to further break Rick, and what's important with Rick to notice is Rick is formulating some sort of a plan. Just by his demeanor alone, he's showing defiance to Negan, and Negan called him out on it. But his demeanor,
don't get that look in your eyes. Yeah.
Don't get that look in your eyes. But he had that look the entire episode. It's a lot different from him blowing snot bubbles and saying he belongs to Negan and crying. Well, that could be he playing coy. He could be playing coy at that moment, at that time. Now Rick is starting to formulate a plan, and you got to pay attention. It may not seem so obvious, but he's formulating a little bit of a plan because he knows it's an impossible task to just attack Negan straight on. He even told Michonne that, and Michonne said, "Hey, what about the hilltop?" Rick said that we still don't have enough. So there's something he knows. There's something else he has to do before he generates a good front against Negan.
But without any guns, that's
and that's another thing about the episode that I like the most is again Jay said it. Negan had the intentions of taking their guns, and Negan is he's very methodical. He's very methodical and calculating, as Jay said. Again, I like that word. You know that, Jay. He's very calculating, and he had the intentions of taking the guns away from Rick to make sure that they don't pull anything. You'll notice that he mentioned, "Hey, you guys took all our guns from the outpost. You used guns to do that. I know you have more guns, so now you have a buttload of guns here. So I'm not stupid. I know what you guys are capable of doing." And he even pulled out Daryl's rocket launcher or his grenade launcher. And he said, "Hey, you guys are the ones who blew up my men on the road on top of this." So he's just like, you guys are badass.
Yeah, he's almost like nonchalantly like, killed even more of my guys.
Yeah, like, wow. What the fuck?
That's impressive.
Exactly. And then he's looking at the video of Rick all grizzled out, and he says, "This is the guy I wouldn't have fucked with, but you're not him anymore." So he's kind of alluding to that fact, and he's saying, I'm not scared of you now, but I do respect what you were, and I do respect what you did to my men. So I'm going to take these guns, and because your son wanted to be a wise ass, I'm going to blame it on him.
I think they would have found something. Somebody would have hid something. Somebody would have,
Exactly.
retaliated somewhere, or somebody would
Exactly.
have listened, and they'd be like, "Well, now I have to." And that's
Exactly.
probably he probably knows that from taking over so many communities by now. He's like, someone's gonna mess up somewhere. It was a fine excuse.
Exactly. And I think that he found the excuse. Then that goes back to the premier and
Mm-hmm.
how he killed Glenn. And he kept saying, the reason why I killed number two wasn't my fault, but he had the intentions of killing more than one of those people. He purposely antagonized, he made sure that he got a rile out of the survivors
Yeah,
just
just
so
give
he
me a
had the
reason.
excuse. Just give
Yeah,
me a reason. He's brilliant. He's very cunning, and he knows what he's doing. He's methodical. So he knows that if he fucks with one of the women and he puts a bat in her face several times over, somebody's going to jump up and do something because he's already done that to Maggie. He's already threatened Maggie with a bat, and he saw Glenn jump up. So he knows that they're protecting their women. He knows what he's doing. So it's yes, Daryl shouldn't have punched him in the face, but would he have continued to pick and prod at this group until somebody did something stupid so he can kill Glenn? So he has a motive, and the guns. It was a good cover up using Carl shooting at one of the saviors, but he was going to take those guns anyways.
yeah. Now the gun. I just forgot his name. Thinking about it. From whatchamacallit there, the guy. Went out with Rosita.
Spencer.
Spencer. Yep.
Yep.
Those two guns. So those weren't even the ones on the inventory. They took those because they just needed two guns to fill the spot, right? Is that what
Correct.
happened?
Correct.
Okay, so there's
So
still two guns out there then that are
yes,
unaccounted for.
two guns that are unaccounted for at this moment, and obviously Spencer had already stolen the guns. Spencer's a kleptomaniac. He likes to steal food and liquor
Yeah,
and guns.
he's kind of a dick.
It's an ass, and
Yeah.
this is kind of like his this is what he's doing as his coping mechanism of losing his family is just stealing a bunch of shit from the survivors. That's just how he is, and he attributes this because he saved everybody by shooting the Wolves truck driver.
Yeah.
He gives himself that excuse. He says the reason why I'm doing this is because I saved everybody's lives. So he's doing a lot of dickhead things, and obviously Rick is onto it, and that's important as well because there's going to be
Conflict there.
there's going to be a conflict there, and it goes back to the preview when he said we should have made a deal with them when we had a chance.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. So and him basically calling out Rick for getting Abraham and Glenn killed. Is showing you that he's no longer trusts Rick as a leader. He's no longer on board.
Well, he never did. I mean, that's why I had the guns.
Never did.
Just in
Yeah.
case. Yeah. And
No.
hell, if it wasn't for Rick and those guys, they'd all be dead. We have the zombie herd coming through, or possibly the wolves, or
Yes, they would have
even
been.
Negan if we found him.
Yeah. I mean, the survivors. Rosita, Maggie, and Carol. They saved Alexandria single-handedly against the wolves. I mean, they had a little help from Aaron, and Morgan didn't want to kill anybody, but the three of them single-handedly, took out most of the wolves.
So we talked about what would Shane do, but what would Deanna do you think if she met Negan? I mean, I don't know. That's just like I don't know if she can even comprehend this heinous person.
It depends on the Deannas that you're talking about. The Deanna before she grew some balls, or the Deanna before she met Rick that was sheltered behind the walls.
That would have been before Rick. Let's say they never met the group, but they met Negan first.
Okay, if they met Negan first,
Yeah.
they would have taken Deanna back. She's a woman. I mean, he basically said that. He would have taken Maggie back. So I think they would have taken Deanna back. They would have made sure that they got whatever they wanted. The group, this group would have resembled the group that we saw in the library last season, where the Saviors just absolutely stripped them of everything.
Yeah, like they're not worth anything to us. So.
They would have went absolutely berserk. The Saviors would have had Alexandria as a home base and everything. I think that they know how powerful Rick is, and they're just trying. Negan is trying to break Rick. Deanna would have been broken the minute Negan knocked his bat on the gate. She would have been done. She would have gave up. They weren't fighters before Rick. So what would they have possibly done to a group like the Saviors. They would have just submitted instantaneously. So, and the Deanna after Rick, when she grew a set of balls, she would have still submitted instantaneously because you can't. What is she gonna do? It's not. These guys are crazy. You can't fight them.
They don't have anybody. Yeah.
No, they're not fighters.
All right. So let's talk about the comics. What did you see that was a difference? I know you said they were about issue 103-ish, somewhere in there.
Well, the difference is obviously Michonne and Andrea flip-flopped a little bit there. You see Michonne kind of questioning what Rick is doing.
Yep. Yeah, so Michonne's practicing to be a sniper.
She's practicing.
Not doing too well.
Not doing too well at all. Carl, basically the same. He threatens Negan, tells Negan, you need to leave before you see how dangerous we can become. Rick does have the speech with his group, but it's not when the Saviors are there. He actually had the speech prior to the Saviors' arrival. So he basically goes back to Alexandria, and he basically says, hey, look, I'm not in charge.
We're screwed.
We're screwed. And, Spencer obviously has an issue with this in the comics. I mean, it was very much the same. Olivia is a different character in the comics, but they were the same. Negan called her fat in the comics. It was very close. There were a couple of minor differences, but I would say overall it was very close. I might be missing some things, but I mean, it was true to form. Spencer and Rosita didn't leave. They were there. But it was true to form. Other than Michonne and Andrea, like Michonne flip-flopping with Andrea.
That's true. Yeah, obviously Andrew's not around anymore.
Nope.
For a second, I wasn't sure what Michonne was doing, like why she was leaving. I don't know if she was going to head to their base, something like that, scout them out, or what have you.
Yeah, and I think Michonne by trying to reacquire these sniper skills, I think that she's basically taking more on Andrea's comic book character arc. So, because Andrea is, even in the show, Andrea is a sniper. So you're gonna this was like a foreshadowing of Michonne's new MO. So,
do you think that fits her character? Michonne's character wanted to. Obviously she's out there practicing sniping because she wants to shoot Negan.
Yep.
Do you think that fits her character, or I thought like she was being more zen?
I still think it. I think that's by them taking away the sniper rifle was them to say Michonne is the samurai. I think that the sniper character is still going to be. I think it's going to be Sasha. I could be wrong, but I think by Rick handing over the sniper rifle just shows you Michonne is still a samurai, and now she's going to have to really, if she was sitting on top of the car, she's really going to have to find out a different way to be an asset other than her, her famous katana blade. So maybe she still becomes a sniper, but I still think that they want to, they've already shown Sasha as this awesome sniper. I think that Sasha's going to take Andrea's, part in that.
Yeah.
And, just because she's already, her character already has the sniper attribute, and she's just sharpshooter.
Reminds me of when Andrea shot Daryl on the head.
Everybody was pissed about that.
Crazy, yeah.
This is dumb. They ruined that character. Every time I think about Andrea's character, it's just like, how do you take this character and what does she do to piss them off, to screw up her character and kick her ass off the show? Like, what?
Like one of the most badass comic book characters.
Exactly.
In the series, and we'll never know.
Whatever.
So female characters. So Maggie, Gabriel there steps up and says that Maggie's dead. She didn't make it. He also brushed his pocket. Kelsey noticed that. I'm sure he was trying to get like a hidden signal or something like that. But how do you think that's going to play out? I mean, she's over a hilltop. You can't just cell phone call them and say, hey, just let you know, we told Negan that Maggie's dead, so go ahead and hide her. how's that going to play out? Do you think Negan's going to find her and be like, oh, now you guys are lying to me about her too, or what?
Yes, I think that he was, I think he brushed his pants because he had just did the grave. Like he had just finished up the grave, and he
That's
is
true.
quick on his feet. But he's doing anything to still show his value to Rick. He's trying to make up for trying to get them kicked out of Alexandria and screwing them over. He's submitting himself to Rick. He still believes in Rick as the leader. I think the lie is going to cost them. Every choice that they're making is costing them. So by Gabriel doing this, it's going to cost them. By Rosita wanting to make bullets, it's going to cost them. Negan is everywhere. Negan is sharp when it comes to stuff. He picks his spots. And Gabriel, he specifically introduced himself as Father Gabriel. He specifically told him that Maggie didn't make it. Negan remembers this shit. And he's going to have his generals go to the hilltop, and they're going to report that Maggie's probably there, and it's going to cause a whole bunch of shit.
Yep.
So this is going to cost them some way, shape, or form. So
if they find her, I mean, they might hide him.
They find her.
Yeah.
Find her. And also you got to remember, he killed Maggie's husband. So
Yeah.
you think that Maggie's not going to say might kill one of them and tell them that Maggie's, maybe she does something to one of the saviors, and Negan says, "I thought she was dead, Rick."
Yeah. Or even if let's say there's someone at the hilltop who's a little bit weak in their morality, you might want to turn her over
you might want to turn her over.
Yeah, for a little beneficial treatment.
Exactly. So it's a lot of different things, but I think that it's going to cost the survivors one way or another. A quick Easter egg here, and I just got a text message from my cousin who is watching this, and he watches The Walking Dead because of me, and he asked me about the orange can of soda, and yes, it's the same one that Denise got for Tara, and it's just to signify the end of Abraham.
Where was that?
In the beginning of the episode, Negan grabs the can of soda from the cooler.
That's right. Yep.
He guzzles it down. He crushes it.
Yep.
and in the background, Daryl is watching him because Daryl knows that was the reason Denise went on the run with them. It's to get the can of soda. It's further breaking the group down. And without him realizing it, it's further breaking down Daryl. He's breaking him down without even realizing it. And so, yeah, that was a good little detail they added to it. So
yeah,
now,
I missed that. I didn't see what he was drinking. I know he grabbed
Orange
the can
Crush.
out of there. Yeah.
Yep, that was the only one.
Were there any other hidden messages in the show? Episode you noticed? What do you think the general message was of the episode?
General message was service, and we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Was Negan makes the rules, and even though he said half your shit, he decides what the half your shit is. He's very calculating. He knows that if he takes the survivors' food, they'll get weak and they'll die of starvation. He knows that he wants to make them uncomfortable. He takes their beds. He knows he wants to make them weak. He takes their guns. He knows he wants to protect his group. Further, reason to take their guns, but Negan is in charge, and that's the basic. That's the whole meaning is it's Negan's way now. He's everywhere, and this is his world. Hidden messages. I think a big hidden message in this whole thing is watch Rick's. Keep an eye on Rick's demeanor the whole episode. This is not the guy that Negan broke. And Negan sees that. So you really have to look at, Rick grabbing the bat, his grip on the bat getting tighter. Rick is formulating a plan. So it's the opposite. Rick is not giving up. The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yep.
That son of a bitch took the beds just to burn him down the road.
Yep.
Just to prove a point. Just to prove. Every time we go to bed on that hard floor, just remember, I'm still here. I'm still around. I'll come back and take whatever I want.
and I don't even need it. I'll take it and not even need it. I
Right.
don't care. Yeah, and a very good. I think that this was a brilliant thing that Nicotero and Kirkman actually it was Nicotero and it wasn't Gimple. I forgot the other guy that had the idea. He was on the Talking Dead. He was one of the producers, but they tied in Rick telling Michonne that Judith wasn't his. I think that was great because he's almost saying there's certain things you have to do in life that you don't want to do, but you do it, you know.
Yeah.
And I knew that Judith wasn't mine, but I still love her anyways, and I'll do everything to keep her alive. Does not matter. I'm still her father. So he wants Michonne to understand, like, hey, look, I know this is hard, but it's survival right now. We have to survive. This is the way we survive for right now.
Yeah. You have to accept it. Move on.
We have to accept it, move on, can't change it. We got to move forward. And that was powerful because now he has Michonne kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. So,
yeah.
You know.
Her and Gabriel, Father Gabriel there.
Father Gabriel's going to drink the Kool-Aid no matter what he does. He could take a shit in Gabriel's hand and he'll still drink. It doesn't matter because he's submissive to him. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, his tone too. His whole it was very monotone. You know, very.
Yeah, he's just a robot now. I'm at your service. You know?
So speaking of messages, there was some bad language used as a little metaphor for how Negan is treating Rick. And you talked about this. I didn't think they would say that.
I didn't think so either.
Like I saw, they had a warning about before. That came back on after commercial break. I was like, shit, someone's gonna die.
Yep.
Here we go. And then Kelsey said, it might just be bad language. I was like, you're okay. Yeah. And it was.
Kelsey was right.
Good
job,
right.
Kelsey.
And then once he said it, I was like, what did they just say? Can they say that? Wow.
Hey, we talked about it in the premiere, and I said that they needed. Now, see, this is where they screwed up on the premiere. Negan should have said in the finale, he should have said to Rick, I don't want to make you a martyr. What I want to do is break you, and I want to slide my dick down your throat and make you thank me for it. So that way, when he said it on Sunday, you can go back and say, oh, this is what he said. This, you see? Yep. But they still delivered it, and it was just, walking around with Lucille basically is telling Rick, I just made you walk around with the bat that killed your two closest friends, took all your shit, and made you say thank me. So he basically said, hey, I just slid my dick down your throat and made you thank me for it. And I couldn't believe AMC actually let that go. I was ecstatic because I wanted them to put that in there. I've been saying they need to put it in there, and they did it. So it's just like, I think...
Yeah, you need that for his character,
You need it.
He's an interesting character. It goes back to like the child, songs there.
Yes.
The Bad Wolf at the gate, Eeny, Miny, Mo.
Yep.
And he's just messing around with them.
Yeah, he is. And again, you further see him treating people like animals throughout this episode too. He has Daryl. Daryl, you can't touch. You have to ask a dog owner. I want everybody to pay attention to this. You have to ask, please. And I want people to do this because a lot of people, I have 2 dogs and they wouldn't do anything to anybody, but a lot of people will let their kids go up to dogs and just pet them in the face and touch them in the face, and then the dog bites them. You always should ask a dog owner if you can pet their dog before you just pet their dog, because the dog could be Mike Vick's old dog. It could be, it could be a wolf. It could be something else, and you just pet the dog and they'll bite you. So Negan was telling Rick, don't look at him, don't talk to him. He's mine. Treating Daryl like a dog. Yeah. He's making him go fetch things. So it further proves that Negan treats his prisoners and his captives and his victims as animals or dogs. And he's trying to break Rick down to that level. Rick fetched him a gun that he didn't even know about. Oh, good boy. Yeah, that's great. So it just shows you how he's trying to break these characters down, and he is working so far. And
establishing the dominance is
just
I'm the one
establishing
in control.
Dominance. Yeah.
You submit to me.
You submit to me. And told Rick a couple of times, "You're interrupting my conversation." Told Rick, "I'm handling this." Basically, shutting him down. Told Rosita, "You don't look at him either." She was quiet. He's just, this is just a mental game. He's just winning at this point.
There was a darker scene there. I didn't know how they're gonna go to it, knowing I guess Negan's view on like rape and everything like that. But when Enid was being harassed by that one savior.
And this is important too, and that's a good point you bring up. Negan obviously wasn't aware of this. Negan already gave us a hint on how he operates. He's psychotic. He's abusive. He's a torturer. He's a torturer, but he still has morals from the real world. And he told Dwight before, "You can pick any female, just make sure she says yes." He says to Olivia, "I don't like killing women. I can kill men to the day, as long as the day is, but I don't like killing women." Mm-hmm. And he tells A-Rat, "Don't physically harm these people unless they make us do it."
Right.
So he's establishing that he has some morals left from the real world, from the old world.
Yeah. And if there's no purpose behind like the act, then don't do it. It's not justified. In other words, there's no justice there.
And he's constantly reminding Rick, "You made me do this to you. Yeah. You killed my people. I killed Abraham to make a point that you can't just do this. I killed Glenn because you guys are stupid, and and Maggie died because you guys are stupid. That because he thinks Maggie's dead. Yeah. But this savior, I think you're gonna see. This is gonna be a comic book moment. I won't spoil it, but you're gonna see how Negan still hangs on to some of this moral compass. He still hangs on to a lot of the morals that he had in the old world. And this is just a glimpse of, are Negan's people like this, or does he have a problem with this? And you're going to see that very soon. That's why they showed it. And another Easter egg for you: the balloons. Those balloons, Enid wanted to hang on to them as a reminder of Glenn.
Yep. And we were upset because we got a chance to meet Caitlin Aiken, actress who plays Enid, and she's such a sweetheart. So when that was going on, I was like, you don't touch her.
Yeah.
You don't fuck around with Enid. Come on.
Jay said that they got a chance to meet the actress that plays Enid. What he meant was they went out and had coffee, and then they went play bowling.
The whole cast and I, we was hung out all day.
Had cake, ice cream and cake, and other goodies, and then everybody went home.
Until the next time we hang out, it's no big deal.
God damn it! Oh man, can't get over that. He's just a lucky bastard. Hey, anyways,
tickets are on sale, by the way. Walker Stalker Con, if you want to check them out. I know. We'll talk about that after the show.
We'll talk about that because Jay already gets to go for free, so he'll leave the prices for everybody else, all of us regular people.
I get the friends and family discounts. Everybody.
All right, but like we were saying, they specifically showed that part. You notice that Negan didn't say anything because he didn't see it. Yeah. So you're going to notice Negan. You're going to see whether he stands for this or not, and it's going to further prove that he does have some ways about him that stand for something, for something right.
I was surprised to see. Well, I guess not surprised, but Enid to have some some sort of attachment to something. I know she's been kind of hopping on the fence, very loner the entire time. But I guess having that moment with Glenn definitely brought her into the fold, the group.
Yeah, and Glenn was significant for her. Basically having a relationship with Maggie and basically knowing that just because she lost her parents, she didn't lose them. And I think that the balloons show hope and remembrance to her relationship with Glenn, and that's why she was so those were sentimental to her, and that's why she almost beg the savior to give him back to her.
How do you think that relationship's going to continue with her and Maggie? Do you think it's going to be like a mother-daughter kind of relationship? You feel like?
We got to see if she's gonna get to the hilltop. I'm assuming, and I was 99.876% that Daryl wouldn't have died in the finale.
Yeah.
I kind of have a higher percentage of certainty that Enid will cross paths with Maggie again, because they can't just shut down that story from her saying she has to be there for Maggie to being locked into a closet, and now they don't have a relationship. It just doesn't end that way.
Do you think she'll be like create like comics, be like Sophia's relationship to Maggie?
I think that she's going to end up in the hilltop, and she's going to end up as the Sophia character in The Walking Dead. 100% correct. I think that's they're building up to that.
Right.
And she's going to look at Glenn as almost like a foster father, or basically somebody who adopted her as their child, and she's going to remember him and fight for his his cause, and she'll be Sophia, like you said.
Yep. Let's just stick to that. Just survive somehow.
Just survive somehow.
Yeah. All right. So, wrapping up this episode. Where do you think they're going? It looks like the next episode is gonna be heading over to Hilltop.
Yep.
And seeing how that group's handling it.
I mean, I like this episode because Stephen Ogg, and if any of you play games and play Grand Theft Auto 5, he's in Grand Theft Auto 5. He's a really big character in Grand Theft Auto 5. He's a great character. I liked him in the finale as Simon. And if anybody doesn't know who Simon is, obviously he's Negan's right hand. He's the one who basically set all the traps to lure Rick into the woods, and have Negan have that moment. Simon is a good character. Stephen Ogg is a great actor. He's going to play a big part. Obviously, we're gonna see Gregory in the Hilltop, Jesus, Sasha, Maggie. This is gonna be an episode filled with characters from all over. We're still gonna see the previews. One of the sneak peeks showed Michonne and Carl having a conversation, where Michonne, she's going out to do something for herself. She still believes in Rick's message. Carl doesn't. Michonne's trying to prove to herself, or trying to tell herself to follow Rick's lead. And not do something stupid. And Carl doesn't see this, and Michonne has to basically see for herself what Rick's message is. And I think that's what she meant when she said to Carl, I don't know what your father's doing, but I think Michonne is doing her best to get on board with it. So you're going to have Michonne, Carl, and probably most likely going to have Rick. We're going to have the saviors, the second set of saviors led by Simon. You're going to have Gregory. You're going to have Jesus. You're going to have Maggie. You're going to have Sasha. This should be a really big episode, building up to possibly some sort of action-packed mid-season finale. Remember, we are now more than a fourth of the way through, and we're halfway through the first half of the season. So
we are.
We're building up to something big, and Rosita wanting to make bullets, and I told you guys, Kristen Serrato's her character description in the beginning showed her in a warehouse with blown out windows. Maybe she's in a warehouse with Eugene making bullets and something happens. So I think that they're gearing us up, to some big things coming up, and I think it starts next week.
Yeah, there's only 4 episodes left.
4 episodes left.
That's crazy. I'm looking forward to the season just starting now. It's almost it's halfway over, at least of the season anyway.
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
Yeah, we get to see one of really. I mean, I like Jesus' character too, because the martial arts, the ninja-like, character he is. He's an incredible character in the comics. He's an incredible character in the show, and we really haven't seen a lot of him. But we're in for a treat to see him too, because like I said, he's unique. He's like Michonne. He's like Daryl. he's not a type of person who relies on the gun. He relies on other things, and those are the most dangerous characters in the show.
It's kind of like a Morgan-esque
He
too.
is, and Morgan doesn't relate to. He doesn't need a gun. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
You know? And even Negan is so dangerous. He doesn't use a gun. And Rick at a point where he was using the hatchet. These characters that don't use automatic weapons are the deadliest characters in the show. And obviously Jesus he uses his hands. And I love his character. I think he's awesome.
And he's got a decent voice too. He performed.
Yes, he does.
Did some singing on the.
He's British.
That Walker
They're all
Stalker
British.
There. Yeah.
He's British. It's gonna be a good one, man. I can't wait. I think this one is gonna pick up a little bit more, just because the saviors are gonna come into the hillside, and if I'm correct, this is gonna match up with the. This will either lead into the episode where we saw in the trailer where Jesus is fighting walkers and the hilltop is on fire, or this will actually be that episode. So it'll either be the episode before, or it will be the episode where the hilltop is under attack.
Yeah. Well, it does, according to IMDb, it looks like Carl and Enid will be in the episode as they journey to the community of Hilltop, possibly. Assuming that, so they just have some time, some screen time.
Oh, perfect. This ties into what we just said 2 minutes ago, where Enid is probably going to find Maggie. There you go. You gotta always listen to my percentages of correctness, because I'm usually right on. I leave it open for me to possibly be wrong, but usually know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to this shit. I guess obsession. And
also, I know what didn't click for me immediately with this episode was the time lapse. It's only been 3 days.
3 days.
So I'm assuming that this one up at Hilltop has only been the same amount of time. So Maggie, just getting up there, then, maybe taking on a day to get up there. So, 2 days recovery. She's definitely gonna be weak. Sasha's still gonna be recovering. I'm sure Hilltop is still frantic now, thinking that, well, we just had this group try to kill Negan. We can't put them up to it, so let's see. Let's hope that Negan's group, the Saviors, don't find out that we're kind of to blame.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see a lot of interaction between Gregory, Maggie, and Gregory and Rick very soon. Gregory has to answer for this shit. He basically, he had the survivors were in the dark about how big the sanctuary was. They didn't even know it. They thought that they went into the sanctuary and that outpost, and they thought that they took care of everything.
Do you think that's how big the Hilltop thought they were? Because that's all they've seen? Or
I think that Gregory knows more than what he's leading up to. I think that he probably thought that they were the size that he told Rick, but he probably did not care as long as somebody else dealt with it and not him. Mm-hmm. So he probably did not pay attention to those details. And it's gonna, obviously, you got Maggie there. She lost her husband. Sasha lost her boyfriend, and Rick is losing his community. I mean, he's gonna have to answer to that. So, another tidbit for you, Jay. The difference between the comic and the show is Negan said, him, Lucille, must have made a great impression. He said, I don't want to not every day I beat in some ginger's, head. But in the comic, he said not every day he beat in some Asian's head. So they're not sticking to the original racism that they portrayed in season 1. They're kind of straying away from that. It's weird.
Yeah, you can't blame them.
It's strange.
Right
You can't. So it was interesting to see that, and I kind of liked at least that they Negan acknowledged or reminded everybody that hey, I don't want to have to bash in these people's heads, but.
Force his hand.
You gotta comply. He forced my hand. But definitely, just keep up the questions. I love it. We'll go over them every show if you want us to, and I'm looking forward to next week. This week, like I said, it was another little bit slow week, but I think they're building, and they don't disappoint in these mid-season finales. All the mid-season finales, with the exception of the one that Beth died, have been great. I think that was that one was okay, but it wasn't as big as the other ones,
Yeah.
other seasons.
Yeah.
So,
Well, next week I will not be around. We'll be on vacation, so we won't be
okay.
able to record one. So we'll probably do a recording that following week
Yep.
on Go Getters,
Okay.
and then we'll do another one later on that week for episode 6 there.
Where you guys going on vacation, man? Anything everywhere special? Any of the cast members invited?
The Walking Dead cast members, they invited us down to Cancun for the week, so we decided to go. No big deal. Yeah.
Woo.
So we'll be down there,
Oh,
hanging out in the sun. I mean, we're in the Alabama sun right now. It's nice. So Cancun sun's be even nicer.
yeah. I'm in Albany, son, and it's not here.
What's that? Doesn't rise there anymore. It's just crazy.
It's starting to get colder and colder. It's gonna snow. Sometimes it rains, and it's just crazy.
Yep. So we'll be catching up on that episode, and then we'll try to probably shoot for that Monday. To what day would that be? 28th to do a podcast for Go Getters, and then later on that week try to knock out that 6th episode sometime.
No problem, man. I'll be here.
All right, and then actually that following week we'll be in town.
Oh yeah, that's right, man. You guys will be. You see the baby and everything, huh?
Yeah, so maybe we'll try to somehow find a way to do a in-person show at your house or something.
Hey man, that sounds great. Hey, when will you guys come? Actually, you'll be in town the week after the 28th?
Yeah, so we'll be in town the 3rd to the 11th.
That's my birthday week.
Yeah,
Make sure
man.
you guys give me something. I want a big ass cake. Nice.
Oh, you mean like a personalized? Video
Oh yeah, that
Lenny
too.
James
that was
and
fine. I
autograph,
forgot.
was it?
That's a great.
You know what?
That was a great present. I don't need anything else.
I'll go find another James who just had a kid. No problem. I'll hand that off to him.
Not too many of us, okay?
Well, I'll bring my collection. I got a good stack of about I think I'm up to like 250 autographs and phone numbers and whatever it is. Whatever. No, we get a chance to meet a lot of them. We're still working on that review of Walker Stalker Con, but we'll get to it. Yeah, so we'll post up the schedule once we figure it out. Once again, to wrap up, don't forget to check out the charity drive. Links down below. American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. You have any closing comments there, James?
Thanks for viewing. Like I said, I thanked everybody for the questions and all the friends and family members that have been tuning in and watching. And some of them are ribbing me a little bit. I'm saying that your session is going too far, and I don't care. We all need healthy obsessions, and they love it because they're watching and they're giving me questions. So you guys keep watching, and you guys keep coming up with questions, and I appreciate the ribbon. You guys have constructive criticism, and you think you can stump me. Bring it.
Yeah, send your questions in. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll be uploading these videos usually about the day after we record them. Tell your friends.
Friends, spread the word, man. See, those views have been going up, so we appreciate that.
Definitely.
All bullshit aside, we appreciate it. Even if you just look at it, you don't like it, just knowing that you actually took the time to look at it, and that means a lot to us in sense, because we're doing this for fun and of course for a great benefit, and hopefully you guys do contribute to that benefit. So
yeah, and any money made goes to charity, so it's a passion projects to benefit everybody else.
Sir.
All right. If that's it, then we'll hold out until the next episode. Looking forward to it. Right. And we'll see you guys here in a couple weeks.
Enjoy your vacation, Jay. Have a good night, everybody.
Well, see you.